Okay, well, forgive my hair, and I don't have a hat, and I don't really care. All right, so this is my first time trying this. Cody, get over here. Freaking dog, all the way down there. Come on, dude. All right, he's back. All right, so I'm here at my property in Utah. Kind of started backing up where I think the driveway is going to end up going, but we haven't cut anything in yet. It's very wooded. Let me just do a quick walk through. Of course, I parked in the area that I typically walk up, so give me a second. Hopefully I don't fall on my ass. So this is not our property yet. We still technically are on the easement. We have this little trail. When I first got here, there was a bunch of logs. That's what all this stuff is over here. We moved a bunch of stuff. We cut a bunch of stuff up just to make the path a little bit wider, make it a little bit easier to get in and out. But yeah, my understanding with this property is that they subdivided these lots back in the 70s, and they sold them all off, but this one looks like it's never been touched, never once. We're at 8,000 feet elevation, so just a little bit of a climb really makes your heart start pumping, and you have to breathe really hard. But yeah, so I bought this back in December. The weekend we closed on it, I came up here with a couple of friends and we camped on it. We had no idea what we were getting ourselves into, but we just made a very rudimentary path kind of along the way that I was walking, a little bit different. We made it a little bit better afterwards. But basically, it was snow and ice all up here. We snow camped. We had a great time. It was a lot of fun. I haven't been snow camping in a long time prior to that, so it was cool. I really enjoyed it. We had a great time. But now, in order for my daughter to be able to come up, being that she's only a year and a half, well, she'll be 2 in January, but she falls. She toddles around, she falls. My wife doesn't want her poking an eye out on the stick or whatever. So I'm doing a lot of cleaning up, cutting stuff up. There's a bunch of trees that are leaning too. Let me see if I can show. So you can see here, there's these trees that are leaning that they want to fall. I know it looks like my tent is right underneath it, but the way that they're leaning against the other trees, there's no way that it's going to fall on my tent, but I'm hoping to take those down here either today or in the near future. So we'll see. I don't really know. But really right now, there's two main things. The first main thing is just trying to clean up the grounds a little bit, make it less of a fire hazard, a little bit more room to walk around, put a couple more tents up here if we want to invite friends. And then the other thing is trying to get a vehicle all the way on our property. So as I kind of mentioned before, there's an easement that runs up for the road, and like there's basically a whole nother width of road that could be in here before my property actually starts. So you can see, if I can find it, there it is right there. I made that little mark to help me easily find my pin. There's a pin right here. That's the corner pin for my lot. And as you can see, that's the front of my lot and the side of it. It's the corner. And you can see my truck is all the way down there. If you can kind of see it, pathway goes there. Technically the pathway is on the easement, so I'm not like encroaching on somebody else's property. But basically whatever driveway I have has to be on the road side of this pin to make sure that I'm not messing up my neighbor's property. We're going to come around that pin with the roadway. We're going to come up through here, and then the parking spot's basically going to be right here. Clear up some of the dead stuff that's just kind of hanging out. This rotted ass log. I mean, there's just a bunch of junk here. So I got to clear all this stuff up. I did bring a chainsaw. I have a friend coming to help me out, but he's not going to be here for like another 2 hours. All right, so I know I said I was going to wait till 10. It's like 9:30. I think that's good enough. I haven't seen them moving around that much, but I met him last time I was up here. Really nice guy. I haven't met his wife. But Cody, get back here. But yeah, so I think I'm going to start. I'm like around the fire pit area, right? And there's all these logs that are down. They've been down for a long time. They're super dry. One of the problems that we have here is like a ton of termites. All these logs are like infested, completely infested with termites. And so I'm just gonna kind of cut them up and split them probably later. But I think right now, I'm just gonna start with taking down this one. This used to be stacked on top of this. So it's still kind of early. It's like 9. I don't really want to start running the chainsaw till about 10, just because my neighbors are there and I'm trying to be respectful. So yeah, that's a quick rundown. Again, this is where the parking spot should be. You can see my tent all the way up there. The fire area is over there, and where we kind of put our kitchen stuff. But yeah, so I got my work cut out for me. Okay. All right, so I know I said I was going to wait till 10. It's like 9:30. I think that's good enough. I haven't seen them moving around that much, but I met him last time I was up here. Really nice guy. I haven't met his wife. But Cody, get back here. But yeah, so I think I'm going to start. I'm like around the fire pit area, right? And there's all these logs that are down. They've been down for a long time. They're super dry. One of the problems that we have here is like a ton of termites. All these logs are like infested, completely infested with termites. And so I'm just going to kind of cut them up and split them probably later. But I think right now, I'm just going to start with taking down this one. This used to be stacked on top of this other one that kind of surrounds the fire pit area. And then obviously that one used to go there. I cut that off. That's where my little seats came from. But even those have gotten riddled with termites even more since the last time I was here. So I'm gonna start cutting all this stuff up. All right. Oh, wish me luck that I have no issues with my chainsaw. I made a stupid mistake. So that's my cot. It's covered in sawdust. Smart. Oh well. I'll clean it up later. Okay, did some stuff. Cut up some wood. Cut up some logs, some down trees. There's this whole section in here. There's a bunch of stuff in here I just cut up. I filled up the cart. All this brush, it's all from last time I was here. So we dropped a bunch of trees. You can see the stumps there. And we're starting to make a path, or more paths that are clear. But yeah, so I don't really necessarily need to clean this area, I don't think. I should probably focus on something else. But I get sidetracked. Fucking scatterbrain. Yeah, it's just really up there. Like there's so much to do up there. Like I don't even want to touch it because I'm like, it just looks overwhelming. So maybe I'll just focus on like from the tent over here. I'll leave this cluster of trees here. Just clean up all this shit. Maybe to kind of where this stump is. Just do all that. So I guess I had a good plan starting where I was. I do need to cut up that big long one right there, and that one up there that I used to sit on, but now there's like a shit ton of termites in it, which is not nice. And this dog keeps eating grass, but he won't eat his own food. I don't get it. But yeah, so with regards to the trees here, I live in the desert. This is about 4 hours from my house in Las Vegas. Part of the reason why we bought this is because being from Northern California, spending a lot of time in the summer up in the Sierras, I miss trees. And the reality is I would have never even thought of this, buying a piece of property, if it wasn't for my wife. Her grandparents have just this amazing cabin that we used to be able to use a lot more often than I guess the past 5 or so years. And it really kind of gave me the idea, why don't I just buy a chunk of dirt up in the mountains with trees, whereby like a bunch of forests and stuff. I love the trees, and it's really, you can do a weekend trip up here. It's not the greatest, but you know, if you leave, maybe take a half day on Friday, you can get up here before it gets dark, get camp set up, get a fire going, and then, you know, spend 2 nights, pack up in the morning, you know, have breakfast, and then boogie home and be home on Sunday. I love it. I love it up here. Every single time I come up here, I feel friggin' fantastic. This is the first time I've ever been up here by myself. You know, I have the dog, but that doesn't really count. He's not good for conversation. But yeah. And I was not excited about the idea of coming up here by myself. I always like to have my wife with me or a friend. But I'm actually enjoying it. I feel pretty good. My plan is we are first going to build a small like shed cabin, 10 by 12, which is the maximum size you can do without requiring a permit for a shed on a property that doesn't have a primary residence. So we're going to do a 10 by 12. It's going to have a loft in it. It's going to have a wood burning stove. I'm probably going to utilize the idea that I got from a YouTube channel, Bush Radical. That guy's super informative, and I like what he does, and it's simple but functional, and really that's all we need. We just need like a little bit of shelter that we can heat. So when it's snowing up here, we're fine. We don't have to set up a tent. Enough space to where we can kind of store some stuff in there when we're not here. That way I don't have to lug as much stuff back and forth. I already got like a bunch of stuff for that, but yeah, I'm hoping. I'm probably not going to be able to start that before we get snow up here. Right now it's really just clearing. Mainly those leaning trees are really the biggest deterrent, blocking me from being able to start trying to build something. If I get the spot up on the property to be able to get my truck in here, or my wife's Jeep, then I'll be able to haul material a lot easier and not have to worry about that initial like walk up, because the lowest part of the walk up is the steepest, the hardest. And so both obviously the Jeep's 4-wheel drive, truck's 4-wheel drive as well. Both have big knobby tires, so I don't really worry too much about slipping or anything like that. Of course, you know, because I said that, something's going to happen now, but if it does, I hope it's my truck, because I bought an old piece of shit truck for a reason. I don't want to care about it, but Angie's Jeep is like 6 months old. That would be bad. She would be not happy. I wrecked one already, so yeah, let's not do that again, Brandon. Anyway, Cody, come here. It's a doggy. Say hi. Anyway, but these over here, this is like our pathway that we come through. I mean, we're probably going to change it at some point anyway, but all the low stuff like that, that's all Lucy hazard. So I'm going to clear all that shit out. I'm going to have to cut some stuff with a chainsaw, but that's okay. All that, like when I first when I first came out here, when we camped in the winter, it was all the trees had branches all the way down to the bottom when we got to daylight, because we got up here kind of late. Then we solidified our path, right? And then we started just like we had like little tomahawks. We just were snapping all these little branches off and cutting them off and stuff, just to like make it easier to walk through without getting snagged, because you couldn't. That's how full it was. So now it's a lot better. We actually have the path, and now the path is even wider, and I'm clearing off a lot of this low growth. Like this tree, you can kind of see this little thing coming out of the roots here, that needs to go. All this stuff hanging down probably should go as well. This just poked me in the eye, so there you go. That's a good reason. But yeah, it was all like this. See all this shit? These used to go all the way across. That was like one of those pieces was what I was cutting up earlier. So much over here. There's like some grass growing, which is neat. I will let it. I don't really care. If it gets too out of hand, then I'll come and weed whack it. But yeah, just so many down trees. Right? That's all my property too, and it goes all the way up there. I have to go up there at some point, probably today. I want to find my other corner pin to figure out, you know, how far it goes back from that first pin. And then I'm going to put ribbons on the trees. I just realized I'm standing under this fucking thing. We'll put ribbons around the trees to kind of help us be able to easily look and identify like where our property is, right? It's kind of hard, you know, like I said, these were subdivided long time ago. And so I think my corner pin between me and the neighbor that has the cabin, I think that is, it either got buried or removed at some point. I feel like they probably buried it. So if I got like a decent metal detector, I should be able to find it. But I also got the lot maps. I almost hired a surveyor. That's a whole nother story. But I got I called the county recorder's office, and they emailed me all the plot maps with all the measurements to go. Since I have one pin, I now can basically measure off that to find exactly where my property lines are. The reason why that matters is because if I do end up building something, I have to abide by what are called setbacks, which basically is like you have to have a specific amount of distance between a structure and your property line. Okie dokie. Tripping hazard. Tripping hazard. I had to take that tree down because it was dead. So I literally just pushed it over and it fell. Yeah, I'm gonna clear some more of this shit out. All this, maybe. I don't know, we'll see. We'll put it on time lapse. The whole purpose of me recording and is really just for my friends and my family to be able to see their ability to follow along if they want. I'm very passionate about this project. I'm so proud that I was able to do this for my family. I love being up here. My kids love being up here. I just need to make it safer so that they can come up here more often. We don't have to rely on somebody watching Lucy. Granted, next year she'll be, you know, another year older than the first time she came up here. So I'm just doing a bunch of stuff to give everyone a little bit of peace of mind, and it gives me a reason to come back up here, which when your wife is motivating you, she's like, oh, just go up there, get stuff done, because I want to go up there and I want to be able to bring Lucy and I want to do this. Support is awesome. This place is awesome.
Can we make sure that this one's not going to hit my truck?
I mean, it's going to go that direction.
Alright.
It's going to be close.
Wing it.
You maybe go 5 more feet if you want.
Probably not a bad idea. Make sure that I don't... Let's see. Let me look at it here.
That'd be a good damage, though. Take out the bed. Get it totaled. Buy it back.
Yeah, I probably should go.
5 feet should be behind this other tree.
Yeah, well, we'll just
Move the truck just a wee bit. I really do not want a tree to land on my truck. Do not want to deal with that insurance bullshit. Oh, hold on. You stay right there. My duck. Here it goes. Maybe. Timber. Yeah. Yeah. Bye-bye, tree. Oh, it's a happy dog. Our friend just left. I didn't do a whole lot of filming because I forget that I have a GoPro since this is really the first day that I've had one. I bought it yesterday, but that's not really the point. We did a lot. Actually, let me show you. I think the last video I took was dropping the second tree, but then we had to chunk it all up. I tried to take a time lapse. I fucked up on the camera, but this is basically what's left over. I have a rake. I'm gonna rake all that shit out of there. My neighbor told me that he wants all the stuff, so I just left it here, and he can pick it up because he has a big trailer, I guess. So let me kind of show you a little bit more. There was one big Widowmaker that was over the pathway that was sticking out into the street. That's gone now. That's actually it right there on the ground. Well, and then also we'll look at it from up there. But basically, let's kind of see what we did here. There's the first tree we took down. I forgot to film. You can see how much wider. This is going to be where we drive in. It's a little steep right here. We feel like it's going to get a little bit better. This looks way different, right? Because now this tree's down too. That's the second tree we took down. And then we took down some of these smaller ones. So there was the logs that were laying along the side. You can actually see the end of where that was. It was like off to the left here where we had to walk through. That's the previous path because there's like a bunch of junk here. But we cut up a bunch of stuff and yeah, and then we rolled the big logs down the side, right? So you can see along here. So all this stuff we kind of cut up, made it a little bit more manageable. You can see all the twigs and shit on the ground. This is the area that we didn't rake. Ryan raked down there. There's that big Widowmaker that was over what's going to be our pathway. That's the butt end of it. I have to cut all that shit up. I'll probably do that tonight. But yeah, we just we got after it. We cut a bunch of stuff up, moved stuff around, because right here, the tip of the shovel, was basically, that's the corner of our property. There's my X mark the long story, but that log rolled while I was standing on it, and I almost died. Not literally, but it felt like it. So there's that Widowmaker. Haven't gotten up this far yet. Plan is, as I said before, this is going to end up being our parking spot. I have to take down some more stuff up here. Obviously clear out this area, which I kind of started, but Ryan had to get home. He came and spent a good part of the day helping me out. So very appreciated. And he brought a bunch of stuff that I needed, that I didn't know that I needed, which was really cool. Got like a pole saw, which really helped out with the Widowmaker. He brought an electric saw, chainsaw, which actually did pretty good. Little DeWalt. My saw's been fucking finicky all day. I got it working. So now basically you can kind of see, like, that's a big pathway. once we get the stumps taken care of, so we're going to ground cut them. I'm going to put holes in them and either, you know, get some stump killer or whatever, or just let the termites go after it, because we have a shit ton of termites up here. I mean, it's a fucking forest. What do you expect? But yeah, so there's still quite a bit to do. So that's going to be our first parking area. And then I think the goal is, you see all this stuff here. I think we're going to make it to where once that dead tree part is gone, I want to be able to drive all the way up here. And if we clear out some stuff in there, then there should be enough room to pull in and then back up. So either like the Gladiator or the truck, we can get all the way into the property and then and then back it up to the main area that we're using right now. That's my hope. There's still a couple of big things that we have to take care of from a safety perspective. I'll show you those right now. So behind me and up there, if I can get my screen thingy to turn on, I don't know how to do that. Yep, there it is. Okay. So you can see that tree that's leaning right there. Well, it's right next to another really tall dead tree. And so next time I come up here, I'm going to try and get here earlier so that I have some time before I set up camp or whatever I'm going to do, or maybe just set up camp somewhere else. Probably before I set up camp, because I don't know where else I would put stuff. But I'm going to come up here, take care of that Widowmaker, and then take care of that dead tree so that it doesn't become the next Widowmaker. Because where the tent is right now, that is the intended site for our mini cabin, right? Our little like shed cabin that's, you know, only gonna be 10 by 12. Should be a very quick build if I'm up here enough. But another thing that I was thinking about with this was, so once I finalize my design, in which I've started drawing in AutoCAD, my thought process is between having the truck and having the trailer and having a better access point to the property from the road, I'm kind of thinking that either I can pre-cut the pieces, and that way when I come up, I can have them marked so that when I come up, I just like put them together and stand them up, right? And then I can just kind of go from there. The cool thing about me having done all this stuff in AutoCAD is that I can accurately calculate my diagonal runs, right? So knowing, you know, from the peak of the roof, where the bird, you know, where the bird's mouth or whatever it's called on the end of the rafter needs to be. So theoretically, I could pre-cut things so that I don't have to do it here, which would be kind of cool. I have more tools. I also have, you know, like utilities at my house. So if I can like at least do that, then that would be great. I do have a generator. I do have a pancake air compressor. I don't have like a nail gun for framing. I was planning on buying one at some point, but yeah, from a tools perspective, I have the generator. I have a pancake air compressor, so I could run like nail guns, no problem up here. But if I can do all the noisy stuff at home, that would be ideal. I did so much stuff today and I didn't record it. I don't want to waste anybody's time. I also it felt awkward trying to talk to a camera when my friend was here. Maybe that's something people get used to. I don't really care if I do or not. My wood stack, totally different topic. I'm squirreling. My wood stack is a lot bigger now. You can see like some of these that have like the holes in them. That's all termite shit. Like, not like literal shit, but it's like the termites and they love all the dead stuff on the ground. So it'll just be a lot easier to come up here when I can get a vehicle like on the property. I think that's, you know, like I said earlier, I think that's really a good priority. Getting a vehicle up here will make it a lot easier for us to like come spend more time here, make it a lot quicker when I'm unloading and loading, when I, you know, come and go. And then the other priority is really safety, right? If I can minimize the amount of time it takes me to get in and get out, I then have more time to focus on taking care of the things that I feel like are safety risks, such as those trees that I called out before. Yeah, I mean, that's really, it's really the main thing. Clean up a lot of these branches. That was a dead tree I had to drop. I need to cut that up. I'll probably burn it tonight, just because it's small, it's dry, it's easy. And then I think I'm gonna rake this area. I'll just rake all that bullshit. Just get it cleaned up, maybe over there some, because I think that might make the boss happy. I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna take a break though. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna have a couple of drinks. Not a couple of drinks. I'm gonna have a drink. And I'm gonna get a little organized tonight, figure out what time I'm gonna stop making noise with the chainsaw, because I should really do as much chainsawing as possible before it gets too late. Although I think my neighbors might have left, but still, there's other people that are here. It's actually been quite busy. ATVs, UTVs running around town quite a bit, so I don't want to be disruptive. I know it's still Saturday, but I don't know. I just want to make sure that honestly, I don't really want to draw too much attention to myself either. So anyway,